2021. It was the year of hidden events. A lot happened, but many attribute the events of 2021 to different years. But hey, the last 3 years, 2020 to 2023, really seem like one giant year of constant bad news that never ends. Today we're going to talk about the major events of 2021, and you decide if it sounds like a broken record that could be describing 2020 or 2022. Now, before we get to the major events of 2021, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It really helps to get the videos out to a larger audience. And why should you be the only one to share in all the misery? Now, let's begin with the year of the jackass. This is 10 Minute History Presents 2021. 2021 started off with a major high-profile obstacle race. It had people jumping over high walls and going on long, arduous runs. Along the way, people were banged up, bruised, and some even died. Now, this wasn't a Spartan beast race for a really cool medal, but rather a Capitol Hill race to see who could get the most jail time. On January 6th, demonstrators stormed the U.S. Capitol in protest of the 2020 presidential election. 5 people died in the chaos, either shortly before, during, or following the events, including a Capitol police officer. More than 600 people were later charged, and the White House established an independent committee to investigate the protest. The world also got to see the face of a shaved Wookiee. Joe Biden was inaugurated on January 20th as the 46th President of the United States. Kamala Harris became the nation's first female, black, and Asian vice president. I think this was the one and only time America actually saw its vice president and president at the same time. All other sightings of VP Harris were spooky short videos of her laughing or giving a speech with 10 words repeated over and over. Spooky. Now, before January came to a close, Biden signed a letter signaling the return of the United States to the global agreement to limit greenhouse gas emissions that contribute to climate change, adopted by nearly 200 nations in Paris 2015. The nation had officially withdrawn from the Paris Accord in late 2020, after then President Trump began the process soon after taking office. Farting cows, growing corn, and meat-eating humans were deemed to be the reason the Earth is experiencing weather change. Money well spent, Joe. Not to outdo himself, President Biden announced in April a plan for the full withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. As the withdrawal proceeded, the Muslim terrorist group, the Taliban, took advantage of a crumbling Afghan government to seize control of much of the country. In the rush to leave the country, the United States left behind millions of dollars in military vehicles, equipment, arms, and ammunition. But I'm sure the Taliban will use them all for peaceful humanitarian efforts. Moving out of the United States and to a tiny island now. In July, gunmen masquerading as U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration agents burst into the home of the president of Haiti, killing him and seriously wounding his wife. Barely a month later, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit southwest Haiti, followed by flash floods, leaving more than 2,200 people dead and injuring thousands more. Civil unrest and looting nearly devastated the already devastated tiny island. Back to the U.S. In June, President Biden signed legislation officially establishing June 19th as Juneteenth, National Independence Day, a federal holiday commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. The new holiday marked the anniversary of the date in 1865 when Union General Gordon Granger announced the end of slavery in Galveston, Texas, under the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. 2 years is a long time to let someone know that they're no longer a slave. But hey, things moved at a slower pace back then. On to sports. July 23rd, the Summer Olympics were held in Tokyo, Japan, though no spectators were allowed after Japan declared a new state of emergency due to the Wuhan 19 flu. U.S. gymnasts Simone Biles emerged as the biggest story of the game when she withdrew from the individual all-around competition, fueling a growing conversation about the importance of athletes' mental health. Biles' outspokenness about mental health opened a worldwide discussion about just how many people were suffering in silence. Way to go, Biles. From Japan to SoCal. In March, hundreds of people tuned in to Oprah Winfrey's highly anticipated interview with Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry near their new home in Southern California. The royal couple discussed their decision to leave royal life, as well as the tension with Harry's family. Meghan complained about her in-laws, like all married men and women do, and the racism she experienced in the British press. In September, audiences returned to Broadway theaters in New York City, ground zero for American Woohoo 19 flu. For the first time in 18 months, with precautions including mask wearing, proof of vaccination, distancing 6 feet from the next person, elbow and fist bumping, awkward conversations about who died, fleeing from the unfortunate soul that sneezed or coughed, and gallons of alcohol-laden hand lotions dripped off everyone's fingers. But at least they could watch a live show in what was deemed the new form of being comfortable. Let's stay a while in New York, shall we? In November, a New York judge granted the motion to vacate the convictions of Muhammad A. Aziz and the late Khalil Islam for the 1965 assassination of black nationalist and religious leader Malcolm X. The two men's exoneration, more than 50 years after they were convicted, came after an investigation found that crucial evidence pointed their innocence, including FBI and New York City Department documents, had been withheld at the time of their trial. New York corruption. Is that even a thing? Also, in November, fans, activists, and every Gen Zer invested in the hashtag Free Britney movement celebrated the decision of a Los Angeles judge to end the 13-year conservatorship controlling the personal and professional life of pop star Britney Spears. Begun in 2008, when the singer was struggling with mental health issues, where was Simone Biles when Britney needed her the most? The conservatorship had been controlled for much of that time by her father. At a court hearing over the summer, Spears spoke publicly about the conservatorship for the first time and called for it to be terminated. After its termination, Spears proved she was sane and no longer in need of supervision by posting nude videos on social media and dancing to no music. Sane as every TikToker dancing in the middle of a busy street while her bestie films it all on her cell phone. And the world lost several important figures like General Colin Powell, Baseball Hall of Famer Hank Aaron, Prince Philip, beloved husband of Queen Elizabeth II, authors Beverly Cleary and Anne Rice, U.S. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld, former U.S. Senator Bob Dole, longtime radio host Larry King, radio host Rush Limbaugh, and actors Christopher Plummer and Olympia Dukakis. Now, did you remember all these events? Were there any major events that I left off the list? Let me know in the comments section below. And if you haven't already subscribed to 10 Minute History, now's the perfect time. If you haven't smashed the like button, what are you waiting for? Be on the lookout for the next Year in Review. Our new upload schedule is every Sunday afternoon. See you on the next episode.